Here, I'm going to plug this back in now, okay? Okay. Good morning. Can you tell us your name, please?
Shelley Washington.
Ms. Washington, did you have children?
Yes.
How many children do you have?
4.
Can you tell me their names, please?
Shaquetta Washington.
How old is Shaquetta?
24.
Okay.
Michael Hughes.
How old's Michael?
23.
Okay.
Janae Washington. She's 17. Rachel Washington. She's 15.
And back in January of 2016, where were you living?
On Radnor Street.
Can you tell us the address?
5520 Radnor.
How long had you lived on Radnor Street prior to January of 2016?
Since 2011.
And back on January 6th, going into January 7th, who all was staying at the house on Radnor with you and your family?
Me, Rachel, Janae, my son Michael, my stepson Joshua.
Did Joshua have a girlfriend?
Yes.
Would she occasionally spend the night at your house?
Yes.
What was her name?
Ayana, I don't remember her last name.
And on January 6th, 2016, your house, is it a standard, what we know as a standard bungalow?
Yes.
And Radnor Street is in the city of Detroit, is that fair to say?
That's correct.
Is it on the east side of Detroit?
Yes.
Your house, does it have a kitchen area?
Yes.
Does it have a living room?
Yes.
And then as you go through your house, is there a bathroom?
Yes.
And are there, how many bedrooms on the main floor?
2.
Are those bedrooms toward the back of the main floor?
Yes.
And are they side by side?
They like, yeah, I would say side by side, but they like this.
They're sort of staggered, is that right?
Yeah.
Entrance to one room across from the bathroom, second bedroom behind the bathroom. Is that how it's set up?
Well, the one room is kind of diagonal from the bathroom, and the other one is like kind of next to the bathroom.
Got it. Do you have an upstairs?
Yes.
And is upstairs one big bedroom?
Yes.
And who stays up there?
I do.
The main bedrooms on the bedrooms on the main floor, those 2 bedrooms, who stays in those bedrooms?
Janae and Rachel.
And you said that one of the bedrooms is across from the bathroom or diagonal from the bathroom?
Yes.
Who stays in that room?
Janae.
And would that be a bedroom that runs along the side of the house nearest to a driveway?
Yes.
And then does Rachel sleep in the other bedroom, which would be right next door to the bathroom?
Correct.
Now, you told us that you also had a couple of sons that were living in the house as well.
Yes.
Where did they sleep?
In the basement.
And would that be also where the girlfriend would stay then with Joshua?
Yes.
Did you have any animals in your house?
Yes.
What kind of animals did you have?
I have a pit bull and a shih tzu.
And the pit bull, where does the pit bull sleep?
She was in the basement at the time. Usually she's outside.
Okay, but on the night of January 6th going into January 7th, the pit bull would have been in the basement?
Yes.
And what about the shih tzu?
She would be at the front door.
And is that where she sleeps at night?
Yes.
All right. Now, on January 6th, do you recall seeing Janae that evening?
Yes.
Were you home that evening?
Yes.
And anything unusual happened that evening?
No. No.
What time did you go to bed, if you can recall?
I usually be in my bed around 9:30.
9:30 in the evening?
Yes.
And are you employed, or were you employed at that time?
I'm employed, yes.
What type of work do you do?
I'm a medical biller.
And the hours that you worked doing the medical billing, do you recall what shift you were working?
At the present time, then I had 2 jobs, so usually I have to be to work like at 5:30 in the morning, and I don't get off till like 6 p.m. in the evening.
All right. Now, on this particular day, January 6th, you told us that you went to bed around 9:30. Is that right?
Yes.
And when you saw Janae, where was she last at when you saw her?
In my room, asked me for a T-shirt.
Did you give her the T-shirt?
Yes, had to be around 11 o'clock.
And when she left your bedroom, do you know where she went?
She got in the tub.
I'm sorry, she what?
She got in the tub.
Got in, okay. And she cleaned herself up, is that right?
Yes.
All right. After she was finished with the tub, did you see where she went?
To bed.
Is it fair to say that after 11 o'clock or so you stayed in your room?
Yes.
Did you ever come down?
Yes.
What time did you come down?
Like 12:30, 12:45.
Did you see Rachel at that time?
Yes.
Where was she at?
In her bedroom.
Rachel was in her room?
Yes.
What about Janae?
She was in her room.
Do you remember what Janae was doing?
Yes.
What was she doing?
She was watching Netflix on the laptop, and I told her to go to bed. And she was like, Mom, that's not me. I can get up. That'd be Rachel. I'm going to get up when you call me. I'm like, okay. I'm like, good night, girls. And I was like, love y'all. They like, love you too.
Okay, so you had a conversation with Janae then before you went up to bed?
Yes.
And you told us that was sometime between 12:30 and 12:45?
Yes.
And then you went upstairs and went to bed?
Correct.
What's the next thing that you heard? Or the next thing that you did?
Nothing. I went to sleep.
Okay. Did you hear anything at all that disturbed your sleep during the night?
No.
What happens then?
My alarm clock goes off at 7:20. So the first thing I do is call Janae and Rachel to get up, because usually I will be at my first job, but I decided not to go that day. So I was at home. So Janae didn't answer.
Now when you say that you call them, is it your normal practice, because you would be at the first of your two jobs, you would physically call them from your cell phone to their cell phones?
Correct.
And tell them, get up, you got to go to school?
No, I say, get up, I'm leaving out in 10 minutes, because they know I take them to school every morning.
Okay.
So just to make sure by the time I make it home, they're ready. So they say, okay. But usually Janae always answer and Rachel don't.
All right, so when you called Janae, did you call her on a cell phone?
Yes.
Did she answer her cell phone?
No.
Was that unusual?
Yes.
All right, then you said that you typically call Rachel, and Rachel is the one who doesn't answer the phone.
Correct.
Now, do you call Rachel on the morning of the 7th?
Yes.
Does she answer the phone?
Yes.
Do you have a conversation with Rachel?
I just said, get up. She said, okay.
All right. So at this point, you're literally upstairs in your bed. They're presumably downstairs in their
No,
beds.
I was coming downstairs because Janae didn't answer, but I had to use the bathroom too.
Okay. So as you're coming down the stairs, you said that you had to use the restroom?
Yes.
Is that the only restroom that's on that main floor?
Yes.
Is there a restroom upstairs?
No.
So you use the restroom that would be beside Rachel's bedroom?
Correct.
When you come down the stairs, where do you go?
I turned and opened up Janae's bedroom door.
When you opened up her bedroom door, do you ever poke your head in?
No, I just opened up the door and started screaming, nay, 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 nay. But I hurry up and ran to the bathroom because I had to use it.
All right, Nene is a nickname for Janae?
Yes.
And so you're hollering at her. Does she ever respond to you as you're hollering, Nene, Nene?
No.
You use the restroom. When you come out of the restroom, what do?
I go in her room, I turn the light on.
Was the light off in her bedroom?
Yes.
Was it dark in her room?
Yes.
When you turn the light on, what do you see?
Blood on the wall.
What else do you see?
It was blood on the wall, so I looked up. It was blood on the ceiling. I looked at the windows like, okay, what's wrong? I'm looking at Nene. She was laying in the bed. Her curtain was like on her face. So I took the curtain and threw it on the floor.
Let me stop you there. You said that there was a curtain that was laying on her face.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes.
Was she laying on her back in the bed or on her stomach?
She was on her stomach.
And then how many windows does she have in her bedroom?
2.
Now, did she have curtains covering those windows?
Yes.
And you told us that one of the curtains was physically on top of Janae's body. Is that right?
Yes.
And you said that it was on top of her head?
Yes.
So you said that you removed the curtain off of her head.
Yes.
What did you see when you took that curtain off of Janae's head?
I seen blood just everywhere. And I just started looking around the room like, okay, she cleaned her room up. I'm like, baby, what hit you? You know, 'cause that's what I started looking for. I didn't see nothing out the way. The windows were closed. And I'm like, baby, you hit your head. I kept calling her. and I'm talking to her, and I'm like, okay, Shelly, you already know what to do.
Did she ever respond to you?
No,
Did she ever open her eyes?
no.
Did you notice anything about, you said that she had blood coming out of her head, is that
It
right?
was, she was steady bleeding. Her collar on her t-shirt, it was just full of blood, and so I asked Rachel to give me a towel, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Let me ask you a question. Did you notice anything about what she was wearing? You told us that there was blood on her shirt, is that right?
Yes.
What shirt did she have on?
She had on the white t-shirt that I gave her
The night before?
the night before.
Right. What about on the bottom?
She still had on her underclothes. She had on some pink panties, but they were pink and black.
Did she have anything else on the bottom half?
No.
All right. To your knowledge, is that how she would sleep, is in underwear and a t-shirt?
Yes.
Okay, so this was her underclothes or her sleep clothes.
Yes.
Did you notice anything about the condition of her underwear?
I did, but because I had to turn her over, I thought it was me. Because I'm, steady talking to her like, Nene, you're not this heavy. Why I can't turn you over?
All right, let me stop you there. At some point, do you flip your daughter over?
Yes.
Why do you do that?
Because I've been through medical school. That's what you're supposed to do for a victim. You're supposed to put them on their back. But however,
So you had some training, some medical training, and you knew that you needed to roll her over?
yes, and also Rachel was talking to the 911 lady. I was trying to keep her out the room.
Keep Rachel out of the room?
Yes, I was trying to keep Rachel out the room.
Why were you trying to keep Rachel out of the room?
Because I didn't want her to see her sister like that.
Her sister's in pretty rough shape at this point?
Yes.
All right, so are you able to roll Rachel over yourself?
Janae?
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Janae. Were you able to roll Janae over yourself?
Not at first.
And you said, you began to tell us that you were asking your daughter, saying things to your daughter like, why are you so heavy?
Yeah, I was talking to her like, maybe, because it sounded like she was just in a deep sleep, like she was just snoring.
So she was making audible breathing sounds?
Yeah, so I had to just calm myself down, and I checked to see if she had a pulse.
Did she have a pulse?
Yes, she had a very strong pulse. I'm like, okay. So I kept on talking, and Rachel wanted to come here. I'm like, just talk to the lady. She's like, but the 911 lady want to talk to you. I was like, I can't talk to her. And I don't know what their conversation was because I never got on the phone because I couldn't talk to her because I was trying to get Janae to respond to me.
All right, what happens then?
So at this time, I took the cover and I threw it on the floor.
When you first came in the room, you told us that the curtain was laying on Janae's
The curtain was
face.
laying on her face, yes.
Was she also covered up with her?
She was covered all the way up to her neck with her cover.
All right, so did she have some sort of like comforter? Or,
It was a comfort, yes.
and you said that comforter was all the way up to her neck,
Yes,
covering her up,
Yes.
covering up her entire body.
her whole entire body.
All right, now you told us that you took the cover off and you laid it on the ground.
No, I
That's
threw
what
it
you
on the
went
floor, yes.
for. All right. What happens then?
So after I flipped her over, I seen her arm just fell. Like, I flipped her over and her arm just went like that. I was trying not to panic because I knew, like, this is not happening to my baby.
All right, for the record, you've indicated with your left arm, sort of taking it up from your chest and just sort of flopping it off to the side. Is that right?
Yes,
And that's what her arm did when you rolled her over.
yes.
What happens then?
So I'm looking at her bed and I seen that she had peed in the bed and it was blood. And I was just like, baby, how long you been laying here?
This was a conversation you're having?
That I'm still talking to her. I never stopped talking to her. So at the time, Rachel, like, the ambulance here. So I'm like, okay, go be moving the furniture so they could come in with the stretcher. So when I went outside, it wasn't an ambulance. It was a police car.
All right. When the police, this would be the first police officers that came to your home?
Correct.
Do you remember anything about those police officers?
The first thing I said to them, I believe I started freaking out then because I asked them, like, why are you here? And I'm like, if you're not coming to help her, you need to leave. And
Did you expect when Rachel was calling for 911, did you expect the police to come?
No,
What were you expecting?
I was waiting on the ambulance.
All right, so your concern, or at least what's going on through your mind at this time, is where's the ambulance?
Correct.
Not the police officer?
Yes.
Okay, so is it fair to say then that at this point, when you start speaking with the police officers, you start to freak out?
When they got there, the lady, I forgot her name, the lady officer was like, well, we got the call that said the ambulance had been here. I said they never came.
What happens then?
And so we walked into the house, into the bedroom, and the male cop was like, well, you have to leave out of here. And I told him, I'm not going anywhere. I said, do what you need to do. I am not leaving my child. And he was like, well, you are, I said, well, you worry about something being contaminated. I touched everything in here. I'm not leaving her, so do what you need to do. Right. So the lady cop grabbed me and gave me a hug and said, it's okay. And at some point, I believe it's like 7:47, the ambulance still wasn't here, and I'm like, I'm 2 minutes away from the hospital. Where are they? You know, so many people kept calling. I think around that time, when an officer called it in and said they had a...
Okay, let me stop you there, because we got to have this conversation back and forth with each other, okay? All right, so fair to say that 911 is called shortly after you get up around 7:20-ish, right?
Correct.
By at least 7:45, the ambulance has not arrived yet.
Correct.
But the police are there.
Yes.
And do additional police officers come to your home while you're there, if you know?
I don't remember. I believe so. Maybe 1, 2 cars. I'm not sure.
Okay. Now, you told us, let's go, I want to take you back just a little bit. You said that when you rolled Rachel over...
Janae.
I'm sorry, I apologize. When you rolled Janae over, you said that you did notice something about her underwear.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
What is it that you noticed about her underwear?
It was, the front of it, around her crotch area, was slightly moved to the left.
Now, with the underwear being slightly moved, did it expose at all the top part of her genitals?
No.
Did it expose any part of, like, what would be the pubic bone?
No.
It was just pulled slightly?
It was just pulled. Oh, I thought I did that because how I had to turn her because she was so heavy. I thought it was me.
Okay. Do you know that for a fact, or are you just speculating?
That's what I speculate.
Okay, so you're guessing. All right, now, in terms of the ambulance, does the ambulance eventually show up?
Around 7:57, yes.
And when the ambulance gets there, do they take control of the scene in terms of your daughter, Janae?
No, I think I met them on the porch, and the first thing I asked them was, I was telling them that they need a stretcher. So the man was like, you sure we need a stretcher? I'm like, yes. So they, one of the EMTs went back to the truck and got the little rollout thing that you put bodies on your carry, because they never brought the stretcher in.
I'm talking about like a gurney?
Yeah, but you carry it, you don't.
Okay.
And so after that, the police officer said that I had to stay outside, so I did.
You waited outside?
I waited outside.
Now, excuse me. At this point, you've had some communications with Rachel, because she's called 911 and she's been in contact with you. Is that right?
Yes.
What about your other children?
Shaquetta, after I called her, I couldn't get my words out because she stayed on the street, and I just told her to come here, and she like, Mom, what's wrong? I'm like, just get here. All
right, so Shaquetta is in her own home on Radnor Street?
Yes.
All right, so you call her on the phone, and she eventually comes to the house?
Yes.
What about Joshua?
Joshua's there since we woke up. But I guess he heard the commotion.
Does he come upstairs then?
Yes.
And what about the girlfriend, Ayana?
I don't know what point she came upstairs. My head at that moment wasn't focused on her. I was trying to get my son Michael because he wasn't there. Like, I was trying to hurry up and get him to come home. Like, I told him I needed him to come home.
All right. When you went to bed at 11:30 or so, was Michael at the house?
No.
Okay. To your knowledge, was Michael home at all that evening?
No.
And so when you called him the next morning, he had to physically come to the house?
Yes.
Did he come to the house while you were still there?
No.
All right. Do you leave with Janae and the EMS or the ambulance?
Yes.
Where do you go?
We went to St. John Hospital.
Now, you told us that your home is fairly close to St. John's Hospital, is that right?
Yes.
Did you remain with your daughter at the hospital?
Yes.
To your knowledge, did she ever regain consciousness?
No.
Did your daughter pass at the hospital?
Yes.
Do you remember what day that was?
January the 12th.
Was she continuously hospitalized from the time that she left your home on this morning of the 7th through the
Yes.
12th? Now, in terms of the house, do you ever go back to the house after?
Yes. I went back the day she passed.
Tell me about the flooring in your home.
I put my carpet up in my living room and hallway, so it's just wood floor. In Janae's room, the whole downstairs was wood floor except for Janae's room, because she wanted her carpet in her room.
So Janae had carpeting in her room?
Yes.
At any point in time, did you conduct any experiments in your house?
Yes.
Tell me why.
Because I was trying to figure out why my dog ain't bark, because she bark at everything.
All right. Tell me what you did to try to make this determination.
So I had my son to go in the hallway.
I don't
right?
object, Judge. I don't think this is proper.
I think based on defense opening statement about certain things, this is absolutely proper.
I will overrule your objection.
Thank you.
Thank you. You said that you had your son go into the hallway,
Yeah, I had him start stomping and screaming.
and where were you?
I was standing in the kitchen because I wanted to see what Snowball was going to do. That's my dog.
Snowball is the Shih Tzu or
She's
the...
the pit.
Okay. And what did Snowball do?
So Mike stomped like 3 times and started screaming, and she ran up to the kitchen. She had a dog chain on, so I heard it.
All right, so Snowball is in the basement.
Somehow or another, she got off her leash. And
I see you shaking your head, so I know that the answer is yes, but this woman in front of you has to take everything down. So Snowball, you said, is in the basement,
yes,
and she is on a chain or a leash of some sort.
yes,
And you said that when your son starts stomping and screaming, Snowball runs somewhere. Is that right?
yes.
Okay. Is she barking at all?
No, she just ran.
Okay.
Like, she never barked. I just heard her coming.
All right. What happens then?
So I stopped her at the kitchen. And I'm like, okay, Mike, wait a minute. I went back downstairs in the laundry room, changed her back up. I said, go in Nene's room and stomp.
Okay.
Do exactly the same thing you just did.
Okay. Does he go and do that?
Yes.
Where are you at?
I'm still standing in the kitchen.
All right. What happens then?
So she never came, and I'm screaming to him like, well, when you gonna do it? Are you doing it? And he's like, Mom, I done did it 3 times. I'm like, well, do it again.
And so it's your testimony that Snowball never reacts to that?
She never reacted to that.
Let's talk a minute, if we can, about Janae. Do you know where she went to school at?
Yes.
Where did she go to school?
Diploma success.
I'm sorry?
Diploma success.
And was she ever a student at East English Village?
Yes, I put her out of that school because she was having problems.
Okay. When did she go to East English Village?
From 9th grade to her 11th grade.
Okay. What grade was she in January of 2016?
She was a senior.
Set to graduate?
Yes.
I'm sorry, repeat that question.
I'm sorry, set to graduate?
Yes.
Janae set to do all the things that you do as a senior in high school,
Yes.
including prom, senior pictures, those things?
Yes.
I'm going to show you a series of photographs. Have you ever seen photographs from your home from the night?
No.
I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as people's proposed exhibits 2 through 47. Did you want to take a look at them before I present?
Oh, I think.
Juror number 12, would you like to take a break, or can I get you a cough drop or something? Mr. Klein, could you give juror number 12 a cough drop, please? Officer, thank you.
Look at the super exciting ones or the fake ones. See how that goes.
Do you need some more water, ma'am?
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to take a minute, so I'm going to have you take a look through these if you would, please.
Okay.
Just take a minute. When you've had an opportunity to look at them, just let me know. Washington, did you have an opportunity to review those photographs?
Yes.
Did those photographs fairly and accurately show what your house looked like back on January 7th, approximately 7:30 in the morning?
Yes.
I move for the admission of the proposed exhibits.
Mr. Callahan?
No objection.
Thank you. People's Exhibits 2 through 47 are admitted.
Permission to publish this video.
Yes.
All right, let's start with People's Exhibit number 3, if we could, please. What are we looking at here, Ms. Washington?
The front of my house.
Exhibit number 4. What are we looking at here?
It's still in front of my house.
Now, you can see in the photograph that there's some yellow crime scene tape. Do you know how that got there?
From the police, I believe.
Okay, were you, when you left with the ambulance, was the crime scene tape already up?
No.
Or when you came back to the house on the 12th, is that when you saw that this crime scene tape was there?
It wasn't there.
Okay. Did you ever see this crime scene tape in front of your house?
No.
Moving on to exhibit number 6, please. What are we looking at here?
The address on my porch?
And is this your front door?
Yes.
7? What are we looking at here?
The front entry of my living room?
Is it fair to say that this door is on the other side of that beauty gate?
Yes.
When you open this front door, what room do you go into? What room is this here?
The living room.
Showing exhibit number 8. What room is this?
The living room.
Now, you told us that the hardwood floors are throughout your living room, hallway, and into, which room is this?
That's ratio room.
Okay, so there's hardwood floors throughout here where you pulled up the carpeting, is that right?
Yes.
Now, this door right here, what door is this?
The bathroom.
And on the other side of this wall right here, is that the stairway that goes upstairs?
Yes.
And that goes upstairs to your bedroom?
Yes.
Further down the hall on this side, on the other side of the stairwell, would that be where
Janae room.
Janae room's at? Exhibit number 9. Do we see the entranceway to the upstairs? Here?
Yes.
And then this here would be the entrance to Janae's room?
Correct.
Entrance to Rachel's room?
Correct.
Bathroom.
Correct.
Exhibit 10. What are we looking at here?
This is Janae room.
11. It appears as though we're standing in a doorway. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And whose room is this?
That's Janae room.
Now, you told us that one of the things that struck you when you went into this room was that she had cleaned up. Is that right?
Yes.
Is this your vacuum cleaner?
Yes.
And while this might not be up to what I would say would be clean, is this your daughter's idea of clean?
The room wasn't like that
Okay.
when I first seen it.
All right. How was it different?
I don't know what's that in a corner. There wasn't nothing over there in that corner
Okay.
at all. She literally cleaned her room up. Her drawer was closed.
This drawer here?
Yes.
Okay.
That curtain wasn't like that.
Was the curtain hanging straight down?
It was hanging straight down. It was like, pulled all out.
Okay.
The curtain and the blanket that's on the bed wasn't on the bed.
Okay, so is this the comforter that you were
That's
telling
the
us about?
comforter I threw on the floor, and that's the curtain that I threw on the floor.
Okay. Let's go on to number 12, please. What are we looking at here?
Janae bed.
Now, this is the comforter that you took off,
Yes,
and you said that when you last saw it, you had thrown it on the floor.
it was on the floor.
But when you first came into this room, Janae was laying on this bed,
Yes,
and she was laying face down,
yes,
covered up to her neck by this comforter.
correct.
And is this peachy color
It's pink.
pink? Thank you. I think it just kind of looks washed out because of the photograph. But in any event, this pink piece of material, is that the window covering that goes to this particular window?
Yes,
And you said that this was laying over her head.
yes,
13? Now, you told us that you saw blood on the wall. Is that right?
yes,
And I'm highlighting with the green laser pointer. Is this an area of blood that you saw?
yes.
15? Now, you said that when you saw all of this blood on the wall, that you started to look at the windows.
When I seen the wall, I just took my head up and I looked at the ceiling.
Let's show exhibit number 17. You said that you literally traveled all the way up and then you looked up onto the ceiling of the room. Is that right?
Correct.
Exhibit number 21. Specifically here, did you see blood on the ceiling?
Yes.
Exhibit number 22. Exhibit number 23. Let's move now to exhibit number 24. Now, excuse me, when you found this, did you literally throw it on the floor, or did you just move it off of
I
her?
threw it on the floor.
All right, and when you had last seen it, did it hang from this window covering this window here?
Yes.
And did it go across the window completely?
Yes.
Do you recall, or do you know what kind of post or pole held that in place?
It's a curtain rod. It's one of them adjustable curtain rods.
Is it one that, for example, you just stick it into the
Yes.
window well?
And
so
have the
it-
rubber ends.
So
on
it's held there by tension.
it. Yes.
Exhibit number 28. Is this the other window in Rachel's room?
Janae?
Sorry, I apologize. In Janae's room.
Yes.
All right, so there's a window here, and then there would be a window that would be off to this side of the room.
Correct.
Exhibit number 30. What are we looking at here, ma'am?
The beginning of my driveway.
All right, is this the end of the front porch?
Yes.
And do you recognize this vehicle?
That's my truck.
And what is this wood fence here?
To my gate.
Right, does this gate open and or shut so that it would go across here?
Correct.
So it bisects or cuts the driveway in half?
Yes.
Was the gate open on the night of the 6th?
Yes.
Is that usually kept open?
Yes.
Move on to 31, please. What are we looking at here?
The driveway back to the garage.
32. What are we looking at here?
The side of the house, the garage.
All right, so this back here is your garage area.
Yes.
This window, what room does it look into?
Kitchen.
This window down here,
Basement laundry room.
this door,
Side door.
and is there a landing on the other side of this door that if you kept going, you would go downstairs to the basement?
Yes.
Or you could turn to go up into the kitchen?
Both.
Okay, so you could either go downstairs into the basement or up into the kitchen.
Correct.
This window here,
Janae room.
so that window that we saw with the curtain that was still in place, is that,
That's that window.
this is the other side of that window?
Yes.
33. Let me direct your attention to this window here. Do you see this window?
Yes.
Do you notice anything unusual about this window?
Her screen is pushed up a little bit.
Let's move on to 34, please. Now, had you seen the window like this prior to the 6th of January?
No.
Had you made any observations of this window where it was intact?
Yes.
Do you recall when the last time you had seen it when it was intact?
The morning of January the 6th.
Okay, so that morning you had seen it?
Yes.
What made you look at that particular window?
I always check the windows and the screens because Janae sleeps with her window cracked.
Okay.
So the first thing I asked is, you close your window to make sure that she closed her window. She was like, I don't even use that window. I'm like, make sure all the windows are closed because I just have a fear of people climbing down the window.
All right.
And I have to make sure that my screens are down and the screen were down because I'm the one that turned it the way so it would be hard to lift it up.
You told us that your daughter likes to sleep with the window slightly cracked, though?
Yes.
Exhibit 36. What are we looking at here?
The back of my house.
All right, is this the corner of the house right here?
Yes.
This window here,
That's Janae room.
this window here?
Rachel room.
And are these your garbage cans?
Yes.
Do you keep your garbage cans here like this?
Yes.
$38. Is this your fence?
Yes.
This window goes to
Rachel room.
this window?
Janae room.
Is it at 40? What are we looking at here?
Janae phone.
Let's see. Let's go to 43. Whose room is this?
Rachel.
Now, you told us, can we get the lights back on too, please? You told us that when you had last seen Janae, she was watching Netflix on the computer. Is that right?
Correct.
You kind of were giving her a little bit of a hard time about shut it off and go to bed. It's a school night, right?
Yes.
That computer, did you ever see it in your house again?
No.
Thank you. I have nothing further at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. Mr. Callahan?
Thank you. On the evening of January 6th, and you go to bed around 9:30, correct?
Yes.
And you're working two jobs, so what, I'm not sure I understand the second job. You have a job that you leave the house at 5:30 in the morning for?
I had a morning job. That's my part-time job, and I had another job. I had to be there at 8:30. So I leave house around 5:15, 5:20, because I was always late. As long as I was there at 5:45. And I left that job every morning at 7:30.
All right, so you call home, make sure the girls are up,
At 7:20 every
and,
morning.
and then you take them to school, correct?
Yes.
Now, I noticed in the pictures of the both the front door and the side door that there's locks on those doors, correct?
Correct.
And there's locks on the inner door as well, correct?
Correct.
There's locks on the window.
Just a little bit.
There are locks on the window as well, correct?
Correct.
When you say you check windows, you check to see that windows are locked, correct?
No, that's not what I mean. Because I'm always in the driveway when I say I check the windows to make sure they are down, because Janae had a habit of leaving her window cracked. So if I'm in a car pulling out the driveway, I can see what windows are cracked or windows are open. So when they get in the car, the first thing I ask them is, did you close your window? Are your windows locked? They say yes. I don't get out the car to go in the house to see if the windows are locked, because I have to hurry up and get them to school so I can make it to work at 8:30.
Okay, but as a general rule, you know that those doors and windows are locked when you leave, correct?
Yes.
When you go to bed at night, you know that those doors and windows are locked, correct?
Yes.
You have a Shih Tzu and a Pit Bull, correct?
Correct.
Does the Pit Bull bark?
Yes.
And what does the Pit Bull bark at?
Any and everything.
And that evening of January 6th, where was the Pit Bull?
In the basement of the house.
And if the Pit Bull hears something, it barks, right?
Correct.
The Shih Tzu, you say, sleeps at the front door?
Yes.
And does the Shih Tzu bark?
Yes.
And what does the Shih Tzu generally bark at?
Noises that she hear or certain little things, like things that's moving. She's not as aggressive as the pit, but she will bark.
All right. A lot of little dogs are little yelpers. You know what I mean? They bark a lot at nothing.
Well, she's kind of old, so she don't really bark a lot at nothing. She will bark.
All right. Now, that evening, you went to bed around 9:30, correct?
Yes.
And you said that at about 11 o'clock, Janae came up, and what did she do?
She asked me for a T-shirt.
And she didn't have her own T-shirts?
I'm quite sure she had a lot, but maybe she didn't feel like washing her clothes, so she wanted a T-shirt to put on to go to bed.
But it was just a T-shirt that she wanted, correct?
Yes.
And she went downstairs then, and you say she got in the tub.
Yes.
When you say she got in the tub, do you mean that she showered or that she bathed?
She took a bath.
You didn't witness her get into the tub or get out of the tub, did you?
No.
You went downstairs next at, I believe you said, between 12 and 12:30, correct?
Yes.
And when you went down, both girls were in bed, correct?
Yes.
Janae was watching Netflix, right?
Correct.
And she was doing that on a laptop computer, correct?
Yes.
She wasn't wearing headphones, was she?
No.
And the volume, was the volume on her computer all the way up?
No.
How loud would you say the volume was? I mean,
It was loud enough for her to hear, but not loud enough for me to have to say, turn it down, because usually I have to say, turn it down.
and on that occasion, on that evening, you didn't have to say that, did you?
No.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, if she had it all the way up, you would have heard it upstairs?
No.
No?
It's not that loud.
It's not that loud. But how about if you were standing in Rachel's room, would you have heard it?
It depends on where you at in the Rachel's room. If I was standing in her doorway, I can hear the laptop. Yes.
Okay. Did it ever occur that Janae would tell Rochelle to turn down her computer or vice versa?
I'm not sure. They communicate through each other from their phone. They text each other. So Rachel, majority of the time, have her headphones in. Or they both would be in their room with their door closed.
So, in other words, excuse me, you could have Rachel in her room with the door closed, correct?
Yes.
And Janae in her room with the door closed, correct?
Yes.
And they're texting one another.
Yes.
They don't talk, they text.
They talk. They do both. They are sisters. They do both.
Now, your daughter was a senior in high school, right?
Yes.
And she had friends, did she not?
Yes.
Were her friends, I mean, she's a couple of years older than Rachel, correct?
Yes.
Okay, did she have a different group of friends than Rachel?
No.
Were Rachel and Janae together all the time?
Yes.
Did they go to school together?
Yes.
You took Rachel or Janae out of the high school and put her in a different
I
school?
took them both
You
the
took them
same
both
time.
out, okay.
Enrolled them in school the same time.
Your daughter Janae had a boyfriend, correct?
No.
Well, in November she had a boyfriend, didn't she?
No.
You're sure of that?
I'm positive. Now, did she have male friends that she talked to? Yes. Did she have a boyfriend? No.
Do you know the defendant?
Personally?
Yes.
No.
Ever seen him at your house before?
Once.
When was that?
I believe the summer before 2015, either 15 or 14.
Which one? Summer of 2014 or
I'm
summer of
not
2000?
sure which year it was.
Your best recollection is 2015?
I'm not sure which year it was.
When you saw him, where did you see him at?
Sitting on a porch.
Who was sitting on the porch with him?
Janae and Nisha.
Janae and who else?
Her friend Nisha.
Say that name again.
Her friend Nisha.
Leisha. Or
N with an N. Nisha. I don't know her.
Kanisha?
If that's her real name, I don't know her by that name.
Okay. But you call her Nisha.
Yes, that's how I was introduced to her.
What were they doing on the porch?
I'm not sure, because when I pulled up, I seen a boy on my porch, and I got out and cussed everybody out, because she can't have boy company if I'm not at home.
So at some point in time, boy company was a problem, wasn't it?
No.
And you said you cussed her out because she wasn't allowed to have boy company.
I didn't say she wasn't allowed to have boy company. I said she can't have boy company if I wasn't home. It's a difference.
And had she ever had boy company at home that you didn't know of, that you subsequently discovered?
No.
At least to your knowledge, right?
Correct.
And when you did that, when you proceeded to cuss them out, did Mr. Winfield leave?
Yes.
Out of curiosity, was your daughter permitted to go to a boy's house during the day in your absence?
If I know where she's at. She would call and say, can I go such and such place? And I would say, yes, call me when you get there. Let me speak to their mama. I need to know where you're at.
To the best of your knowledge, did your daughter ever seek your permission to go to Daraian Winfield's home?
No.
That's not something she would do, is it?
No.
At approximately 7:20 in the morning, you call Janae, and Janae doesn't answer, correct?
Correct.
Then you call Rachel, correct?
Correct.
Now, you go downstairs, you use the bathroom, correct?
Yes.
You go in the room and you discover your daughter bleeding, correct?
Yes.
That night before, you did not hear anything, did you?
No.
the doors open, you hear the doors open?
Yes.
You didn't hear a door open,
No.
correct?
Which door are you talking about?
The front door.
No.
You didn't hear the side door open?
No.
The windows on that house, do you hear them when they open and close?
The alarm thing beeps, so anything that opens that have a sensor on it, it will beep. And no.
So you didn't hear a sensor beep?
No.
Do the sensors beep when the doors are opened and closed by someone within the house?
It doesn't matter who opened or closed the door. If the sensor is in there, it will beep. It'll beep when you open it, it'll beep when you close it.
Okay. You didn't hear the beeps go off at all that night, did you?
If I'm asleep, I can't hear it.
Are you a light sleeper?
Sometimes.
So not all the time.
No, I work 2 jobs, so no.
Now, you don't know what panties your daughter put on after she showered or bathed, do you?
No.
When you looked at her and you turned her over, I believe on direct examination,
This
you
is
would-
before I turned her over. When I looked at her, I pulled her t-shirt up because I was checking to see if she had her underclothes on.
Please wait for a question. At the time that she's laying on her stomach, face down, you're not really making any observation of her panties at that time, are you?
No, not at first.
Not at first. When you roll her over, I believe your testimony was that you believed you may have caused the panties to be pulled down.
I never said they were pulled down. I said they were shifted. It's a difference.
Okay.
And I believe I did that when I was trying to flip her over because I had to rock her in order to flip her over.
And you could not see any part of the vagina at that time, correct?
No,
You couldn't see the top of it,
no,
where the hair is?
no.
Okay. When you went back to the house, when was you left the house on the 7th, correct?
Correct.
And you didn't spend the night there that night, did you?
No.
Where did you go?
I stayed at the hospital.
And your children, do you know where they stayed?
When they left the hospital, Rachel, Michael, I believe came back home. I believe Shaquetta, I'm not sure if my daughter Quetta stayed at my house or she went home. I wasn't there, so I don't know.
The first time I believe you testified that you went home and spent the night was January 12th?
Correct.
Now, when you got home that day, that's the day that she passed away, correct?
Yes.
And what time did you get home that night?
About between 3:45, 4 o'clock, somewhere in there.
And if I understand correctly, what you did is conduct experiments as soon as you got home?
Not as soon as I got home. My mind frame wasn't in the right place, and it wasn't on that day.
It wasn't on that day that you conducted this experiment?
No.
Well, when did you conduct the experiment?
It was after that, due to the fact that my daughter passed on the 12th. I wasn't in the right mood to say, oh, let me do this experiment.
But what bothered you, if I understand correctly, is the fact that all this happened with a house full of people and nobody heard a thing, correct?
And yes, that bothered me, yes.
Did it occur to you that Janae may have let someone in the house?
No, but if she did, she would have came and said, my such and such needs to come over here because something's going wrong. She would have never snuck nobody in the window because they would have came through the door.
Janae's not the type just to let somebody hit her, right? She'd yell if she was being attacked, wouldn't she?
It depends on what condition she was when she was being attacked. Now, if she was asleep, how can you yell if somebody waking you up and startling you?
So, I want to know a little bit more about this experiment. So somebody stands in Janae's room, if I understand this correctly, right?
This somebody is my son, Michael.
Your son, Michael, and somebody goes downstairs with...
No, somebody. I stood in the kitchen.
You stood in the kitchen. Where was the dog at?
She's in the basement in the laundry room.
Was she locked in the basement in the laundry room?
No, the door wasn't closed. She was just chained up.
She was chained?
Yes, on a leash.
And then somebody stomped their foot on the floor?
I had him to stomp 3 times and scream to see what was the dog's reaction.
Because normally the dog would bark at that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if she could, her leash is kind of broke, so she snapped on it hard, pulling at it, she can get it loose.
You looked at some pictures of the windows with the screen pushed up, correct?
Yes,
When was the first time you saw that photograph?
today.
Okay. And that you never told the cop that the screen was pushed up in the bedroom, did you?
No,
In other words, when the police responded, you didn't say, oh, look, the screen's been pushed up,
no, I never went outside.
okay? And in fact, you really didn't pay attention to the screen that morning, did you?
I never made it out the house, so how could I?
Okay. Nothing further.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan. Ms. Clark?
Thank you. Now, let's talk first about the experiment. You said that the experiment was because you were concerned about the fact or bothered by the fact that this happened and nobody heard anything. Is that right?
Correct.
Particularly with the pit bull in the house.
Yes,
Now, when your son went into Janae's room, which you said has carpeting down, is that right?
Yes.
And does it have the padding underneath of it as well?
yes,
You had him stomp his feet and start screaming.
yes.
Did the dog react at all?
No,
Did that surprise you?
yes,
Now, in terms of Janae, you said that she was not the type of person that would sneak boys in the house.
correct.
Would she sneak girls in the house?
No,
Would you have characterized your daughter as a social butterfly or somebody who's always out over to girlfriends' houses, hanging out?
no,
Or was she someone who was at home quite a bit?
yes,
The friends that she had, were those friends that you knew?
yes.
Were those friends that would come to the house on occasion?
I wouldn't say occasion. I guess when Janae felt like she wanted to have company. She was, even though she was 17, she was more so like probably like a 12-year-old, stayed at home, watched cartoons all the time.
So she wasn't somebody who had folks over to the house often?
No,
And she wasn't someone who was out in the streets doing what she wanted to do at 17?
no,
You said that you characterized her as more like a 12-year-old, is that right?
Yes.
Would Rachel be one that would have folks come over more so than Janae?
No.
She
Because
didn't?
people think she's mean.
Okay. You said that you saw the defendant one time at your house, and he was on the front porch.
Yes.
You're uncertain as to whether or not it was the summer of 2014 or the summer of 2015. Nisha was the other person that was on the porch.
Yes.
So it was Janae, Nisha, and the defendant.
Yes.
You cuss him out, and then he leaves.
I cussed Janae out. I knew Nisha was coming over because she called and asked could she have company. I said, who is your company? She said, Nisha, we're going to come over after school. I said, that's fine. So when I pulled up from work and I seen a boy on the porch, I didn't care who he was. I cussed her out because I said, no boys cannot be on my porch. I don't know who you is, and she can't have boy company if I'm not at home. She told me that she didn't know Nisha was bringing him with her.
Okay.
I said, you should have called to clear yourself up so you won't get in trouble.
All right. In terms of when this happened, was your daughter, Janae, at East English Village at that
Yes.
time? All right. Do you recall when you pulled Janae from that school?
October of 2015.
All right. So would that have been the summer before you pulled her, or would that have been the year before?
I believe it. I'm not
So that doesn't clear it up? Okay.
not sure.
Now, let's talk about the windows. You said that Janae had a habit of leaving one of her bedroom windows open.
The one, wherever, because she moved her room around a lot.
Changes
So-
the furniture layout?
Yes.
Okay.
So wherever her bed is at, she cracks the window because she gets hot, and if she gets too hot, she starts breaking out.
So would that have been the window that was in the backyard where the trash bin was right underneath the window?
Yes.
That would be the window that she sometimes leaves open.
Right. She'll have it cracked.
All right. Now, you said something about alarms and beeps and things like that. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that for a minute. Did you have an alarm system in your house?
I have an alarm system. It's just I had didn't have it activated. I had a power surge. I had to get everything together, so I had to reactivate it, but I never did. But still, when you lift the window up, it still beeps.
Okay. And does it continuously beep till you have to, like, shut it off, or does it just beep, beep, and then that's it?
Yep, it just beep, beep. It just let you know, like, one of the sensors triggered. So if I was to look at the app on my phone, it would tell me bedroom window 1, bedroom window 2, front door, side door, whatever sensor that's open, it would tell me.
All right. And in terms of the windows, if hypothetically speaking, if Janae were to open up the window, it would simply beep twice, I think you told us, and then it would stop beeping.
Yes.
She doesn't have to do anything to shut the beep off. It would just beep, beep.
It'll stop on its own.
Is that same true if the window is open from the outside and somebody just slides it up?
Same thing.
Now, you said that there's an app that goes to your phone.
Yes.
Did you have any alerts to your phone about any of that sort of activity
I
that night?
didn't, I was asleep, so I didn't check it. I didn't think to check it when I came down and seen her that way. That was the last thing on my mind. When I seen her room, the first thing I went in, like I'm detective, like, okay, windows closed, no screens are not up, I'm like, so I just started thinking like, well, baby, what hit you? And I'm like, well, maybe you hit your head on the window ledge.
All right, so your first thoughts when you see the blood and you see her is that this was somehow an accident that she had caused to herself.
I thought that, yes.
At some point, do you ever see that screen?
I never went on the side of the house. Just the first time I seen how that screen looked today.
All right. But you said that on the morning of the 6th, which would be the day before all of this happened, you had seen that screen and it was fine.
It was closed all the way.
In terms of the beeps, where does the beep generate from? Does it generate from the window? Does it generate from like a keypad somewhere?
The keypad, which is in the kitchen.
All right. So again, the kitchen would be next to the driveway.
Yes, but the keypad is like if you come in the front door.
Okay.
You know how you've seen the layout of the front door. It's like that first S. As soon as you turn, the keypad is right there on the wall, but it's in the kitchen.
Can we show exhibit number 7? excuse me. This is the front, turn my little handy thing on. This is the front door, correct?
Correct.
All right, so then is this entryway right here?
That's the kitchen.
That's the kitchen. So is that keypad then located
Like
on-
right there where that mirror hanging at.
Right here?
It would be on the other side of the wall.
Okay, so just on the other side of the wall into the kitchen area, that's where it was?
Yes.
All right, and we know that your room is upstairs?
Yes.
Your son and his girlfriend were in the basement?
Yes.
Rachel was in this room?
Correct.
Janae would have been in that room?
Correct.
So the room itself wouldn't, like if I was in Janae's bedroom, door closed, could you hear the beeping from Janae's room?
I would hear the keypad if I'm woke. So it won't beep in her room.
It'll beep in the kitchen?
It'll beep in the kitchen. The keypad would beep.
All right.
So it doesn't matter like where you at. Say like if you're in going to the bathroom and you lift the window up, you'll hear the keypad beep, but you won't hear it in the bathroom. You won't hear it in any room.
All right. And if you are asleep, could you hear it?
No.
All right. Nothing further.
Thank you. Request, Mr. Callahan?
You would hear it if you were sleeping lightly, though, wouldn't you?
Sometimes I did hear it. I was sleeping lightly.
And on this night, you don't know if you were sleeping lightly or not, do you?
Oh no, I wasn't sleeping lightly. I was in pain, so I took a pain medication. So I was sleeping.
Time did you take the pain medication?
Oh, around 9:30.
Specifically, what medication did you take?
I had some a Flexeril and Benadryl.
Flexeril?
Yes, it's a muscle relaxer.
And Benadryl.
A Benadryl, yeah, because I itch when I take it, so I have to take them both together.
Nothing for the judge.
Thank you.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Washington. You can step down. Does either counsel object to Ms. Washington remaining in the courtroom?
No, Judge, I think that she's entitled to under our crime bill victim rights.
No objection,
Okay,
Judge.
thank you. Ms. Washington, you can remain in the courtroom if you wish. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you deserve a break. Can we take a break and come back at 11:15?
All rise for the jury.
Yeah.